weighs like 250 pounds, so I'm not really sure how this is going to end up happening. But this is one of those. Normally, I don't give credit to the Paul brothers, and I give them credit for being great on social media and creating a lot of buzz for the sport. I give them credit for getting in the round with Anthony. This is not like a Mike Tyson fight when Tyson's 60 years old.
Newswire, only on SportsGrid.
Goff and Mahomes were never taken serious. Hurts won't be, even if they're the 1 seed. Jonathan Taylor plays run. Mahomes lost the head-to-head to Josh. Can I confidently eliminate every single person booked behind Josh Allen to at least beat out Josh Allen? So I'm in a head-to-head with Stafford May?
Game time decisions, only on SportsGrid.
Let's take a look at a couple of narratives here and play a good game of fade or not fade. And first up, well, the idea that the Chiefs are going to put it all together and win the AFC West, well, that's absolutely gone. Absolute fade from this point on, Donnie, with the Chiefs. Their 10-year reign is over. It's done with.
The early line, only on SportsGrid.
Football contest season is back, and so is the Las Vegas Football Contest Show. Season 2, the sharpest football contest show in the land. Focusing on all 3 Circus Sports contests and the Westgate Superbook Super Contest, we handicap the games and release our contest picks every week of the season. Featuring Super Contest champions Brady Cannon, James Salinas, and former NFL player Mike Pritchard, all team will have you prepared this season like none other. Check us out every weekend right here on SportsGrid.
Time to rise and grind right here on the early line for a Tuesday morning edition right here on the Sports Grid Network. I'm Donnie Rightside. He's Joe Ranieri. You know the drill. Over the next 2 hours, we got you covered on all the hottest topics across the sports landscape. And also, it is a holiday week. Today's Tuesday. Wednesday, most people start to throttle down. Thursday, Turkey Day. Friday, Black Friday. And then Saturday and Sunday, an unbelievable sports week, which includes all sports here, Joe. NBA, college basketball, college football, NCAA football, NFL football. We got a lot to get to and not a lot of time to get to it, Joe.
Donnie, you got to love Turkey Week, man. There is nothing like it at all. I mean, Feast Week, college basketball being played all around the country here, top teams, NBA in full effect. And then, of course, put up or shut up time, who's going bowling and who's not in college football.
Hey, now, what a good time here to check all those things out. Now, you might be running a little bit light watching that Monday Night Football game, and you need a little caffeination. Well, you know what? We got Joe right here to bring the caffeinated flow. Go ahead.
Well, Donnie, today we need to talk about the absolute masterclass in gaslighting happening in Minnesota. I am absolutely mesmerized by this J.J. McCarthy saga. And it's like a car crash, Danny. I can't look away. Now, usually we have seen when a young quarterback stinks, the coach goes to the podium and says things like, he's learning, he's growing. I'm not going to announce a quarterback until the day of the game because I don't want to give the other team any sort of advantage. You know, those types of things, but not the Vikings. They have invented a new strategy, Donnie. It's called the Phantom Injury Protocol. It's amazing. Let's recap this entire disaster that's been going on here. Week 1, he wins an award somehow. Then he plays terrible. And boom, a mysterious high ankle sprain keeps him out for not 1, not 2, but 7 weeks. 7 weeks. Wolverine heals faster than this guy. And then they go out and sign Carson Wentz off the couch, and literally it's like throwing him in front of a Mack truck and they almost kill him. Why? Just so they can protect J.J. McCarthy. And when he does finally come back, historic. And I mean not in a good way. According to the stats, J.J. McCarthy now ranks 851st out of 852 quarterbacks in EPA per dropback since the year 2000. The only guy worse on that list, number 852, Jamarcus Russell. If JJ had taken the snap and spiked the ball into the dirt on every single play, his quarterback rating would have been higher than what it was. We are watching Jamarcus Russell 2.0 on a team, Donnie, that won 14 games last year. So with the terrifying Seattle Seahawks defense on deck, what did the Vikings do this week? Do they admit he's struggling? No. Suddenly, he now has a concussion, which is funny, Donnie, because he never went to the blue tent during the game. Nobody ever saw him get hit in the head. Did somebody give him a concussion in his sleep? I'm not sure how this works here. It's got to be one of the softest benching in NFL history. And now we get to see Max Brosmer, an undrafted free agent. Folks, if Max Brosmer goes out there and completes 2 passes to Justin Jefferson, well, that would be way more than something McCarthy refused to do, by the way. It's probably over for J.J. McCarthy. Justin Jefferson, the best receiver on the planet, and McCarthy has held him under 50 yards in 3 of his last 4 games. That is a fireable offense on its own. Now, Vikings, you need to stop this charade. Stop inventing injuries. You whiffed. You drafted a bust. Just admit it so we can all move on, because right now, the only thing J.J. McCarthy is leading the league in is medical excuses, Donnie. Give me a break, Minnesota.
Some of the biggest wins again there, Joe, by Michigan in college. Asked J.J. McCarthy to not throw the football. And now basically Minnesota's asking him to not throw the football with his concussion. By the way, speaking of concussions, given his backers concussions right now, just watching that awful play out there. We'll see what happens. And again, it was not a good look if Brosmer goes out there this past week and has a solid performance against Seattle. Where does that leave Minnesota as a franchise with J.J. McCarthy as their franchise guy? Let's get into the early lineup today. A real franchise guy. That's Joe Burrow. He's at least been to a Super Bowl. He's going to come back this week and take on the Baltimore Ravens on Thanksgiving night at 8 o'clock. They're getting 7 points in that game. They probably won't have T. Higgins, but they will get Jamar Chase back.
Well, I get it. I mean, the Bengals have gone 1-8 in Burrow's absence. I'm not quite sure what he's returning to because, again, Joe Flacco averaged about 27 points per game since he took over in week 6. I'm not sure how much more Burrow is going to bring to the table from that standpoint. The issue's been defense, but it'll be good to have Joe Burrow back at least.
How about Baker Mayfield? Not sure he's going to be back this week here. To be determined who's going to be the quarterback for the Tampa Bay Bucks going up against Arizona. A game they should win there, but Baker Mayfield, as tough as they come, has that injury. Maybe pops back up sooner than later.
Yeah, just unfortunate situation there. But, I mean, he had been living on the edge since week 1, Donnie, has he not? I mean, he's kind of carried this team at a lot of levels. The injuries hit everybody else on that team. Looks like it's his turn now.
Shedeur Sanders, it is his turn now. He's going to get a second straight start after picking up the victory on the road against the Las Vegas Raiders. An 8.7 QBR in that game was good enough for a victory. He's going to take on the 49ers in an upcoming game. That defense, you should be able to just hand the football off, Joe, 75 times and be competitive.
How low is the bar for quarterbacks with the Cleveland Browns, Donnie, that a dude who has an 8.7 QBR rating, you're actually like, you know what? We need to see more. Yeah. All right, we're going to get more. Can't wait to see his 8.8 QBR rating next week, Donnie.
Don't need to see any more of that New York Giants defense giving up fourth quarter leads. Why? Take a look at that. Shane Bowen has been fired. Has he been the issue? I don't know. Maybe it's more of a defensive strategy. Maybe it's more on the players themselves, but he's out of business because you got to be able to close some games. It's like having a closer in baseball. Every time you have a 3-2 lead, you lose 4-3. Can't have that.
I just don't get the Giants. So you're firing Dable, but you keep the GM, and now the GM is playing Survivor, and he's just voting guys off the island here. And now the defensive coordinator has to go. Now the defensive coordinator has to go, Donnie. Not after the Denver game, but no, now the defensive coordinator has to go. Yeah, they not a lot of confidence with what's happening with this organization right now.
How about those Pistons out there? 13 straight victories, 15-2 on the season. Detroit basketball is back.
And the way they're winning games, too, Donnie. Very physical, young. JB Biggerstaff and company got them rolling right now. My man, Cade, Cunningham leading the way there. You got to love, this is a fun team to watch play hoops, Donnie. I can't wait to see if they can maintain this throughout the season.
WBC is back this year. Soy Otani says, sign me up, pal. Let's go out and win another WBC Classic, which means all eyes will be on that series.
I hope a lot of the guys end up joining in, Donnie. I think it's, I enjoyed it the last time. I think it's going to be even more fun this time, as long as you give these guys an opportunity to play in it.
How about an opportunity to coach? That's what Brian Kelly says he's not being able to be a part of here. Why not? By the way, Brian Kelly, I don't really think it's LSU holding you back. How about just you holding you back where another school probably doesn't want you? How about that?
Donnie, it's hilarious. Like, he is literally, this is everywhere he has gone. He has burned just about every bridge behind him there. The guy is just insufferable. That's his MO. And kudos, man. Let's see who hires you next, Brian Kelly. In a year, Donnie, where every blue blood job is available and nobody is calling him. What does that tell you?
It's like you have to be a people person at some point. Like, yes, you want winners there, and Bill Belichick was able to be gruff with the media because he won so much. Brian Kelly doesn't do that. It just seems every stop he goes, he just gets more arrogant at his time. Like, where does he go now? Certainly the peak would be an LSU job. Does he have to bounce back in at a group of 5 to try to and also, it's not getting any younger either, Joe.
No, he's not. And that's the problem. Like, at some point, you got to look in a mirror and be like, maybe I'm the problem.
Exactly. I'll tell you who's not the problem. Joe Ranieri and Donnie Wright's at 2-0 last night on Best Bets. We'll get to those at the end of the show, but Spreadlines are coming up next.
He's the fan favorite. They love talking about Stafford, the 38-year-old guy. He's the Super Bowl champ. We got the family. Any opportunity to pump McVay and Stafford as a team, they do that. They love this team. They love Aaron Donald, and rightfully so. Best defensive player, but they love to pump up Stafford.
Pro Football Today, only on SportsGrid.
When you look at Duke, you got to look at Cam Boozer. 18 points. The Bruiser, I may call him. 18 points, 10 rebounds, 5 assists. I know he shot the ball 1 of 4 from 3, but he's showing his ability to really be a different player than his dad. A little bit more dynamic, a little bit more athletic.
College Basketball Today, only on SportsGrid.
Ashton Genty has been hit behind the line of scrimmage more than any player in the National Football League. Yep. So you just gave him the ball in the end zone. Do the math. How's that going to work out?
It's like what I said
earlier. He got hit behind the line of
scrimmage.
He got tackled in the end zone.
Yeah.
Oh, they're terrible. But the thing is, Brady, you draft offensive linemen before you draft a star running back. Like they went backwards.
In-game live, only on SportsGrid.
Goff and Mahomes were never taken serious. Hurts won't be even if they're the 1 seed. Jonathan Taylor plays running back. Stop. Mahomes lost the head-to-head to Josh. Can I confidently eliminate every single person booked behind Josh Allen to at least beat out Josh Allen? So I'm in a head-to-head with Stafford May?
Game time decisions, only on SportsGrid.
Right back at it on the early line on a Tuesday morning. It is a holiday week. We have Thanksgiving Thursday, Football Friday. Again, will actually be a Black Friday out there. Make sure you're shopping around, getting the best lines as well, along with those best gifts for your loved ones here. There's going to be TVs out there. People, what are we buying this year? But I'll tell you what we'll be buying on Thanksgiving. How about a 1 o'clock start between Green Bay and Detroit? And by the way, massive games for 3 teams in the NFC North, Joe. Green Bay, Detroit, and then also the Chicago Bears. If you look at the standings right now in the NFC North, Bears 8-3, Packers 7-3-1, Detroit Lions 7-4. The focal point, Green Bay and Detroit kicking off at a new time this year, Joe. 1 o'clock. No longer 12:30 kickoffs on Thanksgiving. They want it to be more uniform, like a Sunday in the NFL with a 1 o'clock kickoff. This line opened up, Joe, 2.5 as a favorite towards Detroit. Still sits 2.5 as a favorite. The total up slightly, 48.5 to 49.5. Green Bay and Detroit in Motown, Joe. What's your spread line here?
Well, yeah, we saw this hit 3 in varying places, Donnie, for just for a minute or two before it was brought back down, which tells me that likely what you see here is what you get. I am not sure that we're going to get enough push one way or another before kick here on Thursday to get a full field goal. If we do, that's going to have to be an awful lot of Detroit money coming in, because there's clearly a lot of people in the market, Donnie, thinking that coming off of that overtime game there against the New York Giants, they gave them everything that they had, even at being at home, may not be enough to save them, considering the Packers and how good they looked the first time they played to start the season. So I think what you see is what you're going to get. It's going to open up a lot of teasers, I think, for this week.
No, it certainly is, too. You look at the numbers, like, oh, Detroit at home just to win by a field goal. But understand, Detroit has not been very good as of late here. Still trying to find that identity again, other than give the ball to Jameer and hope he goes 69 yards with a touchdown run at this point. We'll find that out early on Thanksgiving Day. How about a little bit later, Joe? A Football Fridays we talk about here, Black Friday event, 3 o'clock start. The Chicago Bears and the Philadelphia Eagles, 2 8-3 football teams on a standalone Friday in the NFL. The Eagles opened up with that look-ahead line, Joe, around 6.5 to 7. It still sits there today, and a total, which opened up at 45.5, now down to 44.5. That seems like a heavy line, but are they setting the hook here where I was like, wait a second, the Eagles just aren't right. They can't get their offense. They're favored by 7. They can't do that. The Bears are really good. Those numbers there are there for a reason. What's your spread line here, Joe?
Well, it's so funny, right? So, and I am one of these people, Donnie. It's the game of the week, I think, anyway, on Friday. But the Bears are 8-3, Donnie, but they are sitting with a negative 3-point differential on the season. Yeah. So there is some regression coming, and I think that's what the market is looking at here as well. But it's not like the Eagles are blowing teams out. They're 8-3, and I think they only have a positive 30-point differential. So it's not like offensively they're destroying teams either. There was a rogue 7.5 in a couple of spots when we looked ahead here. That was obviously bought back down to 7. There was even a 6.5 in a couple of spots yesterday, Donnie, but that too was bet back up to 7, which seems to be the thought. I don't know that we're going to get just under or just over. I think 7, much like we saw last night with the 49ers, Sunday night with the Rams, I think 7 is what you're going to get before kick.
Yeah, we'll find out. An angry Eagles team, a little bit banged up now in the secondary. One of the hotter teams in football, the Chicago Bears, coming to town. It's interesting that the Eagles still favored by 7 points in this one. We'll watch that one play out. You know what else you're going to watch play out tonight? Little action football, Western Michigan versus Eastern Michigan. Line opened up under a touchdown. Here's the look-ahead number for Western Michigan. But we're now seeing, Joe, across the board, minus 7.5 or higher in a total of 45.5. Western versus Eastern, the Battle of Michigan. What's your spread line?
I'm sad, Donnie, because this will actually be the final game of an epic 49-day run of football every day. Wow. And this is going to be the final one here. UMass is playing earlier, but let's be realistic. Nobody's watching that anyway.
No.
We told you yesterday in the spread lines that there is a logjam in the MAC conference here right now. There's going to be tiebreakers. There's going to be all sorts of craziness happening. But Western Michigan got to win to give themselves an opportunity here. And I can see it. I mean, they have already retained the MAC trophy in Michigan for the 3rd straight year. I think 9 times out of the last 12 years. They're going for 3 in a row here. But nothing is guaranteed. But the market seems to think that this Western Michigan team, great defense, Eastern Michigan, not very good, but they've been very good in an underdog role. But that hasn't stopped people, Donnie, from betting this thing up and over the key number of 7. I think it keeps going that way, but it's the total that has been getting crushed here. You talked about that opening number, 46.5. We've seen it drop down a little bit here, and I think that's going to keep falling because the defense is that good from Western Michigan, and Eastern Michigan is just not a very good team.
How about a little Sunday fun day from your neck of the woods here? A resurgent Miami Dolphins, fresh off a bye, healthy and ready to go, taking on the lowly New Orleans Saints, Joe. And are the people buying in? We had look-ahead lines around 4.5. Now I'm seeing as high as sixes in the marketplace in a total of around 42.5 to 41.5, depending on where you're shopping at. New Orleans comes to town. Miami trying to go on a win streak here with Tua. What's your spread line?
Yeah, I mean, but listen, Miami will have an upper hand here. Make no mistake about it here. It's been a remarkable turnaround for this Dolphins team here. Now coming out, I mean, they hit the bye week, Donnie. What'd they win? They've got 2 in a row now, including winning overseas there against the Commanders. The Saints are just absolutely awful. They came out of their bye and got crushed by Kirk Cousins. We saw some 6s on Sunday. We saw some 5.5s. The reality is that it's going to be very hard, I think, for the books to get any Saints money in this game here. It feels like 6 is what we are going to get. I don't think this hits a touchdown, Donnie. I think 6 is where we're going to land.
How about tonight? I don't know if we get the 6, Joe. Clippers and the Lakers out there in Tinseltown, a 5.5-point number across the board, a 229.5 total in this one. What's a quick spread line here for the Battle of Los Angeles?
I'm crazy enough, Donnie. This series has been owned by the Clippers, except for the first time that they played earlier this year. But that didn't include LeBron James. Maybe, just maybe, the Lakers could be looking for the LA sweep here. So we'll have to watch and find out.
Oh, you have to find that on Bye as well. Let's get to the game last night. What happened?
He's the fan favorite. They love talking about Stafford, the 38-year-old guy. He's the Super Bowl champ. We got the family. Any opportunity to pump McVay and Stafford as a team, they do that. They love this team. They love Aaron Donald, and rightfully so. Best defensive player, but they love to pump up Stafford.
Pro Football Today, only on SportsGrid.
When you look at Duke, you got to look at Cam Boozer. 18 points. The Bruiser, I may call him. 18 points, 10 rebounds, 5 assists. I know he shot the ball 1 of 4 from 3, but he's showing his ability to really be a different player than his dad. A little bit more dynamic, a little bit more athletic.
College Basketball Today, only on SportsGrid.
Ashton Genty has been hit behind the line of scrimmage more than any player in the National Football League. Yep. So you just gave him the ball in the end zone. Do the math. How's that going to work out?
It's like what I
He
said earlier.
got hit behind the line of scrimmage. He got tackled in the end zone.
Yeah.
Oh, they're terrible. But the thing is, Brady, you draft offensive linemen before you draft a star running back. Like they went backwards.
In-game live, only on SportsGrid.
Goff and Mahomes were never taken serious. Hurts won't be even if they're the 1 seed. Jonathan Taylor plays running back. Stop. Mahomes lost the head-to-head to Josh. Can I confidently eliminate every single person booked behind Josh Allen to at least beat out Josh Allen? So I'm in a head-to-head with Stafford May?
Game time decisions, only on SportsGrid.
Monday Night Football, did you watch last night? Maybe you went to bed early because that game was certainly a snooze fest. You saw San Francisco jump out to a lead. They were never really threatened in that game. Multiple interceptions by Brock Purdy, 3 in the first half, Joe, and they still won the game by double digits and covered the minus 7.5 point spread. That was Joe's best bet last night. 20-9 victors over the Panthers, which seems like to me, Joe, if we set the table for this one, you look at Bryce Young and you say to yourself, all right, well, let's look at what he's been doing. $138 against the Jets, 102 against Green Bay, 124 against New Orleans, but out of nowhere, an overtime game against Atlanta for 448. Maybe they can get it together. And the one thing we did like was the San Francisco 49ers don't have a great pass rush. Goes right back in the tank. 169 yards last night, inefficient, 2 interceptions. It was just bad. It was one that you're looking at that Carolina team saying, can they actually win the division? And then you snap yourself back to reality and be like, yeah, this is the real Carolina Panthers that we saw last night.
Listen, we were in agreement here. I thought it would be a double-digit win for the 49ers here. I think that offense, now finally healthy, was going to be too much for Carolina to have to play catch-up in this game, which is exactly what they found themselves doing. What I did not see was 5 interceptions from both of these quarterbacks for the game against these two defenses that, let's face it, have been decimated by injuries all year long. So Brock Purdy struggled. Christian McCaffrey didn't. And when you have a guy like Christian McCaffrey that you can lean on, not only in the running game, but the passing game, I mean, over 100 yards from scrimmage again, 10th time this year. He was the guy that they rode to victory there, 20-9. The defense did their part there for the 49ers, but that was not the blueprint I thought we were going to get to the victory for the 49ers, but they did just enough and did exactly what they had to do. You got to love the fact that your quarterback can throw 3 interceptions in the first half, and then Shanahan comes out and says, okay, you're not throwing anymore. Christian McCaffrey, just give the ball to Christian McCaffrey from here on out. We're good to go. And that's a pretty nice commodity to have there in CMC.
38 rushes as a team for San Francisco last night, Joe, which you're right, included 24 of those by McCaffrey, 7 by Robinson, a couple rushes for Brock Purdy, which ended up being a lot of knees at the end of the game to bolster that up to 6. 38 carries for 147, 3.9 yards per carry. The interesting part is Christian McCaffrey saw some of his numbers. Like, he got the ball a lot, and typically he's an explosive running back. Did have the nice touchdown run, but 3.7 yards per carry in that game was still enough to get it done. George Kittle got 10 targets last night, caught 6 of those for 78 yards, and McCaffrey is a workhorse. 24 carries and 7 catches, 31-plus touches on a Monday night football game to carry them to victory. But really the focal point was, what weren't we not getting for Carolina? Tet McMillan has been nothing short of sensational his rookie year. Only 2 catches, 35 yards. Did get the touchdown on a 29-yarder, but 7 targets and only 2 catches. You just saw Bryce Young just didn't look comfortable in the pocket, and he also threw 2 interceptions. His QBR last night, 13.5. Not good enough. And still, they were in it to get a late cover in that game, but they were just bad.
Yeah, they were bad, but, listen, give the 49ers defense credit. Once again, Robert Saleh with a whole bunch of, mixing and matching pieces there on the defensive side, figure out a way to be able to get these guys and keep them out of the end zone when it mattered the most. So just not a good effort by Carolina. Now they got to stay out in California, I believe, because what do they got? The Rams coming up? Yikes. Or maybe they're going back home. Rams are coming to Charlotte next week, which isn't going to – if you thought this defense was bad, wait till you see next week, Charlotte.
No doubt about it. Brock Purdy, how about this statistic here? On throws of 15-plus yards this season, 1 touchdown and 6 interceptions. He wasn't good last night. They still won that game. But if they're a well-oiled machine, they would have torched Carolina last night and basically shut it down, figuring Carolina really can't score and let's just not give this game away. So the second half was really, let's just eat that clock and see what we can do.
Yeah, I don't think they were worried in any way, shape, or form of Carolina coming back. And listen, Shanahan did exactly what he should have done there. We need the win. And we're not, obviously Brock Purdy doesn't have it here tonight. So here you go, McCaffrey. It's the Christian McCaffrey show. And he did just exactly what he needed to do to get the victory.
By the way, Juwan Jennings last night made me laugh because there was a little bit of a scuffle during the game where it looked like, did he hurt his wrist? I'm like, oh no, he must have got hit in the junk. Well, he really got hit in the junk, but it looks like a casted football player. And then at the end of the game, he's going to say, you know what? I ain't having that. Let me get a quick punch in, brother.
Yeah, he did. He got a good one in, too. And he said he was just responding to childish behavior as he childishly smacks the guy in the head. It was very interesting there, but it was a bit of a snooze fest. Most people probably went to bed and didn't see it.
Absolutely, they went to bed. What a boring game, but congratulations. You've got those San Francisco 49ers tickets in your pocket. Let's get to a little Thanksgiving Day action next.
8 3-minute rounds. The gloves are 10 ounces. And Anthony Joshua weighs like 250 pounds. So I'm not really sure how this is going to end up happening. But this is one of those. Normally, I don't give credit to the Paul brothers. And, I give them credit for being great on social media and creating a lot of buzz for the sport. I give him credit for getting in the round with Anthony Joshua. This is not like a Mike Tyson fight when Tyson's 60 years old.
Newswire, only on SportsGrid.
Goff and Mahomes were never taken serious. Hurts won't be even if they're the 1 seed. Jonathan Taylor plays running back. Stop. Mahomes lost the head-to-head to Josh. Can I confidently eliminate every single person booked behind Josh Allen to at least beat out Josh Allen? So I'm in a head-to-head with Stafford May?
Game time decisions, only on SportsGrid.
Let's take a look at a couple of narratives here and play a good game of fade or not fade. And first up, well, the idea that the Chiefs are going to put it all together and win the AFC West, well, that's absolutely gone. Absolute fade from this point on, Donnie, with the Chiefs. Their 10-year reign is over. It's done with.
The early line, only on SportsGrid.
Football contest season is back, and so is the Las Vegas Football Contest Show. Season 2, the sharpest football contest show in the land. Focusing on all 3 Circus Sports contests and the Westgate Superbook Super Contest, we handicap the games and release our contest picks every week of the season. Featuring Super Contest champions Brady Cannon, James Salinas, and former NFL player Mike Pritchard, all team will have you prepared this season like none other. Check us out every weekend right here on SportsGrid.
NFL Thursday Turkey Day. You should see 2 games on there. You always knew it was Detroit. You always knew it was going to be Dallas, but now they throw you a 3rd game. And by the way, good games on Thursday as well. Green Bay, Detroit to start it off. Kansas City and Dallas. The script has been written to make sure that was a good game. Cincinnati at home. Cincinnati on the road, but the last game of the night, Joe Burrow coming back to the lineup here, taking on Lamar Jackson, who seemingly has an injury on every single part of his leg now. Joe, we focus maybe on the games of the day, we should say. Green Bay and Detroit, that 2.5-point number is very interesting to me. It looks like they're begging you to take the Detroit Lions, but we haven't liked what we saw out of the Lions the past couple weeks here. An offense that is susceptible to dropping back and getting pressure on their quarterback. Green Bay's really good at doing that with Micah Parsons. I'm interested to see how this one plays out. And also, Joe, that total that sits at 49.5 on a short week in the division, that could be interesting.
Very interesting here. I mean, in Houston, little extra rest, right? The last time we saw them was a Thursday night game against Buffalo here. So we saw the look-ahead line around 4.5 in this one, Donnie, and then it dropped down to 3.5, and then there was a lot of Indy money that came in yesterday, which pushed it back up to 4.5, and I think that's where you're going to get. The hook, I don't think, is disappearing. You'll either be able to get 3.5 or 4.5. I don't think that there's going to be an overflow of Houston money coming in because who's the quarterback? Is it Stroud? Do we trust him? Is it Davis Mills? Do we trust him? This game is in Indy. I think it kind of lands exactly where it is right now.
What the heck game are you talking about right now? Where are we at? What's going on here?
I thought Indy and Houston, and that what you just said, or what game are we looking at?
I don't think so. Yeah, Green Bay.
Oh, you're talking Green Bay. Oh,
I love it.
I'm sorry.
I'm telling you, I love it, man. You had me off my rocker for about 30 seconds.
I did have you all fired up for that one. Yes. No, this game is, listen, Donnie, this game is, you win and you're in, right? If you lose, it's an elimination game. So to me, this is going to be playoff football. I don't like Dan Campbell calling plays. I think that's a giant red flag. I don't like the offense of Green Bay either, and I would love to bet the under in this game on a short week, Donnie, which is where I keep leaning to because I don't think the side. It's a coin flip game. Tell me who's got an edge offensively in this game. I can't figure it out.
Yeah, it's interesting because we're seemingly want to go back to the old Detroit teams, right? When I say old, like the last 2 years, dominant offense, doesn't matter who they play. They're in a dome, they're putting up 35-plus points. But you see over the past couple weeks, and yes, they scored a lot against the Giants. It was overtime, but they struggled at times in that game with the pressure. You're going to get a lot of pressure and a way better secondary. The only question is, like, what are we getting out of Jordan Love and that Packers offense? It should be so much better than it is. And if you look at last week, they didn't have to do anything against Minnesota. Minnesota couldn't move the football. Detroit will move it, but I'm with you. I'm thinking more under than over right now. The touchdown market, it's no surprise in this game. Jahmyr Gibbs, a minus 190 price. Josh Jacobs, hoping to come back, and it's one at minus 145, but Emmanuel Wilson was really good last week, scored a touchdown, and had a lot of those carries. We'll see if they have a split backfield, and then some of the other plus money guys like David Montgomery. Touchdown market here. We're going to get some touchdowns. Who gets them, Joe?
Yeah, well, I mean, usually Gibbs and Jacobs always get a touchdown, right? I mean, Jacobs has been like the touchdown machine for how long now? While he's been with the Packers, and Gibbs is a home run threat. Anytime he touches the ball, he can take it to the house here. But I think both defenses are preparing to make sure that that doesn't happen, right? So I think likely the touchdowns are coming from the receivers or the tight ends, because I think both defenses are going to eliminate what just happened to the Giants. There's no way they're going to allow him to go, 80 yards in one touch, something along those lines. That's what they're going to look to prevent in this game.
By the way, if we do look at the NFC North odds to win that division, we already talked about it. 8-3 team in the Bears, 7-3-1, and 7-4, right in a line. But the Packers are the favorites here, plus 130. The Lions at plus 170, and they're the Bears, sticking around with technically the best record right now at a plus 260 price. Any buy-on points for you for either one of those teams? Because I got to tell you, I'm a little bit out on the Lions right now, Joe. I am.
If the season ended today, Donnie, they're out, which is why this game is so important to them, because Green Bay will have the tiebreaker if they win this game. They already beat them the first game, right? So this is kind of put up or shut up time. I don't think there's any tomorrow. I don't think you can come back and spot the Bears or Green Bay 2 games in the loss column here, which is exactly what would happen. So to me, this is a kitchen sink game. I think Dan Campbell knows it. I think everything that they have is going to go into winning this game and let the chips fall where they may. But it's hard to trust either of these teams. And it's hard to trust a Bears team that is -3 in a point differential and yet somehow has won 8 games. It's a crazy division.
It really is. And also the Lions, say what you want about the play calling, and Dan Campbell took it away from Morton, who last year, obviously, Ben Johnson, one of the best play callers in the NFL, has an 8-win football team now in the Bears. It's seeming like it's either Jahmyr Gibbs or it's Amon-Ra St. Brown and nothing else. When they were a Swiss Army knife offense, yes, Amon-Ra St. Brown was great, but boy, that running game was a hammer. Maybe it's just Laporta not being able to be that guy over the middle that you can trust and dominate against linebackers, but something is amiss there, no doubt about it. Thanksgiving Day continues, 4:30 p.m. Eastern, Kansas City and Dallas. This look-ahead line, Joe, is 4.5 Kansas City. We're down to 3 at just about every outlet now, and 7 out of every 10 tickets coming in on the Dallas Cowboys. A total 51.5 to 52.5, depending on where you're shopping at here. This is an interesting handicap. Both of these teams needed a comeback, but I don't know if we're getting that bump like, the Cowboys have saved their season. Understand this about Kansas City. That's a different type of football team now, Joe, that we've used to being over the past couple years. They gave it to Kareem Hunt 30 times last week. Pacheco is supposed to come back. I see Kansas City more now of, hey, you know what? We're not a 3-play, 68-yard and a touchdown team. We're an 11-play drive team that we can go and hand the football off. And I think that helps the Kansas City Chiefs and Patrick Mahomes. They're the favorite here on the road.
Yeah, they are. But let's talk about the Colts in Houston. No, I'm kidding. Here's the Chiefs are the only, Donnie, they are the only road favorite on the slate here. And interestingly enough, road favorites, 25-1 straight up on Thanksgiving since 2004, 20-6 against the number. And it's usually one or the other, right? The Lions and the Chiefs have never gone 2-0 since 2001. Very rare that they go 2-0 together on the same day. I mean, how many years was Detroit terrible on Thanksgiving and they were just a laughing stock? But both of these teams came out of overtime games, and teams on short rest off of overtime, Donnie, not good. 24, 47, and 3 against the number in the last 20 years. So which one of these teams wins, which one of them covers. I think it's not a shock that the money is coming in on Dallas at this point.
Yeah, take a look at the touchdown angles in this one. Javonte Williams is the favorite here at minus 155. Rasheed Rice minus 135. And everybody else is plus money. Travis Kelce, CeeDee Lamb, George Pickens, Kareem Hunt. By the way, if you're going to get a rushing touchdown, Kareem Hunt is one of the best short goal line situations here. So Kareem Hunt plus 165 makes a lot of sense. I look at Kelce plus 120. If you watch his games now, Joe, hot hike, the ball snaps, just watch him. He runs like he is in quicksand at this point right now. I'm amazed he's still playing.
He's a red zone guy, period, right? If they get in the red zone, he might be a target that they'll look at. They'll scheme something up for him, but he is not a guy that is going to change the game at all in any way, shape, or form. But I'm really worried about the whole CeeDee Lamb drops again, and there were a number of them in that game there that could have been huge. Pickens seems like the most reliable guy, and I think Dak is going to be looking for him a lot in this game.
By the way, we also have the odds market here coming up here. The Chiefs to make or miss the playoffs, which is really interesting. Usually it's make or miss the Super Bowl at this point. They have the Cowboys, then they take on the Texans, then the Chargers here.
Yep.
I'm going to say no. Plus 186, Joe. I'm going to say no. I'm going to do it.
I'm with you, Donnie. I think that's there's no more room for error, period. And, they finally won a one-score game, but do they have another one in them?
I'll tell you who has another one in him. It's Lamar Jackson. It's another injury. Find out where he's injured and how well he can play on Thursday night.
Three-minute rounds. The gloves are 10 ounces. And Anthony Joshua weighs like 250 pounds. So I'm not really sure how this is going to end up happening. But this is one of those. Normally, I don't give credit to the Paul brothers. And, I give them credit for being great on social media and creating a lot of buzz for the sport. I give him credit for getting in the round with Anthony Joshua. This is not like a Mike Tyson fight where Tyson's 60 years old.
Newswire. Only on SportsGrid.
Goff and Mahomes were never taken serious. Hurts won't be even if they're the one seed. Jonathan Taylor plays running back. Stop. Mahomes lost the head-to-head to Josh. Can I confidently eliminate every single person booked behind Josh Allen to at least beat out Josh Allen? So I'm in a head-to-head with Stafford May?
Game time decisions. Only on SportsGrid.
Let's take a look at a couple of narratives here and play a good game of fade or not fade. And first up, the idea that the Chiefs are going to put it all together and win the AFC West, that's absolutely gone. Absolute fade from this point on, Donnie, with the Chiefs. Their 10-year reign is over. It's done with.
The early line. Only on SportsGrid.
Football contest season is back, and so is the Las Vegas Football Contest Show. Season 2, the sharpest football contest show in the land. Focusing on all three Circa Sports contests and the Westgate Superbook Super Contest, we handicap the games and release our contest picks every week of the season. Featuring Super Contest champions Brady Cannon, James Salinas, and former NFL player Mike Pritchard, all team will have you prepared this season like none other. Check us out every weekend right here on SportsGrid.
Thursday night football. Yeah, we get a Thursday night football game every single week. Thanksgiving edition? Absolutely. Cincinnati and Baltimore. And maybe a couple weeks ago, maybe let's go 6 to 8. Oh, this could be a monster game. Joe Burrow shooting the comeback on Thanksgiving, saving the season for Cincinnati. I don't think there's any season saving here. Quite frankly, Baltimore has not been all that impressive. But with the collapse of the Pittsburgh Steelers, Baltimore's right back in it to win their division. They are favored by 7 points on Thursday night and a total here of 51.5. Burrow is back. T. Higgins probably won't be there. Jamar Chase will be there. But Lamar Jackson, toe, ankle, hamstring, groin, knee. What is it here? Sits out of practice yesterday trying to get ready for that short week. You look at that Ravens offense. That isn't clicking either, Joe.
It's not. And what kind of rust are we going to get from Burrow? There's so many unknowns in this game. But one thing I can tell you is that I was impressed with the defensive effort by Cincinnati last week there. I thought they laid it all. Where has that defense been? I think if they play to that level, given the injuries, and nothing about this Ravens offense looks like it's in sync. It looks like we were laughing about, Travis Kelce looking in quicksand. Derrick Henry does not look like, it looks like the mileage is starting to wear on him too as the season goes on. So I don't know. This is another one where I don't necessarily love the defenses, but I don't know how much I can trust the offenses in this game either, Donnie. I don't trust Lamar. And I don't know what we're going to get from Joe Burrow. I really don't.
Yeah, take a look at Baltimore. Let me just see if I can bring up their practice report quickly here. It doesn't have it listed here, but there are some banged up guys, which includes Lamar Jackson. But you're right about this. Coming back from an injury, do we just get Joe Burrow, MVP All-Pro guy who can take his team to the Super Bowl? Or is it, hey, Joe, you don't have one of your wide receivers. You're going to be getting a lot of heat from Baltimore's defense. Let's hand it off a little bit more because you do have, a couple options now in the backfield that Chase Brown, he's had a couple good weeks here on the ground. Maybe you start to filter that through. But I look at the totals, Joe, and say I probably, again, lean towards the under. Usually say, wait a second, Cincinnati's defense is terrible. Baltimore penciled them in for 30. This team has not looked all that good on explosive plays. And you're right, Derrick Henry was hand the football off against a bad football team. That's 21 carries for 168 yards, 2 touchdowns, and the play action works and everybody's open. That hasn't been the case. You look at some of the passing props in this game, Joe. Lamar, 234.5. Joe Burrow, 251.5. Expectations are Joe Burrow's going to come back slinging it.
Yeah, you're right, Donnie. The night game on Thanksgiving, 12-6 to the under since 2006. So yes, it's unders might be the way to look, especially with this game. And if that's the case, I tend to look at those passing props for both of these guys and think we might be overestimating what exactly we're going to get here on this Thanksgiving night game. That's for sure.
Yeah, some of those receiving props, too, like Jamar Chase, 92.5 coming back here. Now, granted, if T. Higgins is down, maybe he gets more targets. Zay Flowers, 65.5. Mark Andrews, 37.5. And then we'll wait to see some of those secondary options that are going to pop up for Cincinnati all throughout the week. But if we do look at the rushing props here, you're not getting any discounts here to Derrick Henry, 90.5. No. Chase Brown, 59.5. Lamar Jackson, you see Lamar Jackson, 25.5. You just like, boom. Let me just pencil that one in as an easy one. That's not the case in this spot here. So I'm interested to see what we get. And also, it is a short week. Derrick Henry's not 22 years old anymore. 90.5. How many carries does he get, or does he split some time with Keaton Mitchell and some of the other backs?
I think he's going to split. I think they have to split some time with him because he doesn't look like the same explosive Derrick Henry. He's going to get some opportunities if they get into the red zone. We know that, Donnie. So from that standpoint, it seems logical that we may want to back him with an anytime touchdown. But, Cincinnati, how many times did they turn back the Giants at the goal line last week? So this is going to be very interesting. I don't see a ton of points in this game. I really don't.
Yeah, Rashad Bateman's been down for a couple weeks, but I don't see the practice report popping up just yet at this point to see if he's on his way back from that ankle injury. But it's almost like you take a look at the touchdown market. And yes, Derrick Henry, you think, is going to score, but he's minus 230. Like last night, 340, 300 for McCaffrey. You knew he was probably going to score, and he did, but paying that price point was crazy. By the way, at the halftime, if you got McCaffrey at a touchdown price, Joe, it's plus 125, and he did score in the second half, so that would have been a cash-in plus money ticket. If you're looking to do that double bounce at tight end, Mark Andrews plus 100 for a touchdown. Isaiah Likely plus 220 for a touchdown. Lamar's going to throw a touchdown. We could probably agree on that. And he likes those tight ends in the red zone.
He does, and I think Andrew is a pretty solid bet at plus money there. He'll go to old reliable when push comes to shove there inside the 10-yard line. So I do like that anytime touchdown prop. The others, you would think Jamar Chase wants, hey, just throw me the ball, Joe. Just throw me the ball as many times as you can. It's a little chalky, but if anybody's scoring, it's likely him for Cincinnati.
Yeah, a little toe issue there for Lamar. We'll see if he gets back and how healthy he can be, but he hasn't been the old Lamar Jackson, which, again, you get older in the football, and you take a lot of beatings over the years by running it. It's going to slow you down. Those little injuries are going to creep up here. The Philadelphia Eagles, their offense needs to creep up. 21 points on the board against the Dallas Cowboys. Didn't score the rest of the game, which was 40 total minutes of real-time action, which is ridiculous. They're favored by 7 against the Chicago Bears. 44.5. Some cold, little bit blustery conditions in Philadelphia. But this should be a good one. The Eagles getting a lot of respect at -7, 2 8-3 football teams, Joe.
Yeah, and again, it's not like the offense is here, an amazing job by Ben Johnson and Chicago. But my goodness, it's been a lot of things have bounced their way here, and you got a Philadelphia team now that feels that they let one get away there in Dallas. They go back home. Yes, it's a short week. Historically, Donnie, Jalen Hurts as a favorite, 30-4 straight up at home.
Yeah.
That's a pretty good trend. Jalen Hurts in Philadelphia, usually this is a really good spot to back them.
Looking on FanDuel right now, Joe, flip a coin on this one. I'll give you a free bet. Jalen Hurts, 213.5. Caleb Williams, 213.5. Which quarterback would you take in this game, over or under?
Jalen Hurts, I'd have to go over. I think he's got a big game coming up here. I think there's going to be a lot of that. Throw it up to Devontae Smith or A.J. Brown and let them come down with it.
Speaking of some quick touchdown props, if you do think he throws it up, Joe, +150 for A.J., +180 for Devontae Smith. And also a minus money number on 2 touchdown passes for Jalen Hurts in this game. He's probably going to throw it to somebody, and they only throw it to 3 people. Nobody else gets any looks between those 2 wide receivers and Dallas Goedert. We're going to switch it over to the association next before we close out hour number 1 right here on the Blitz.
The future of the prediction markets, I think, at least for now, may be in the hands of the federal courts. But the good news for those who support prediction markets is that these court battles may last for another 2 to 3 years before we get clarity around the law. And nominee Seelig was handpicked by Donald Trump, not because he was neutral on prediction markets, but because he would do nothing to slow it down.
Newswire, only on SportsGrid.
A huge number out there on Cason Wallace to win Defensive Player of the Year at 500-1. That is worth your attention. And a number that I talked about before the season that I still think should be lower is Mark Daigneault to win Coach of the Year at 11-1 in the NBA. If they win 70, he's a lock for top 3. If they win 73, it's his.
Game time decisions, only on SportsGrid.
What are those things called?
A shooting star.
Yeah, okay, I'll go with that one. Like it just burns up quick, and you love it while you can see it, and bing, it's gone in the blink of an eye.
Right.
That's my fear for Cam Scatterby.
Yeah, and that's not a big deal, but I will say it's weird, and it seems like he really enjoys that attention, which is all fine because he's a young guy.
Yeah.
But possibly dangerous in a city like New York.
The Craig Carton Show, only on SportsGrid.
Close to $1 million in volume being traded right now in the Offensive Player of the Year. If you did put $100 down on Jonathan Taylor, that would pay back $143, so a 43% increase on your money that you had. There are a lot of long shots in here, but it doesn't feel like those would be good bets. Like, hey, I'm going to put it on Justin Herbert. Well, yeah, if Justin Herbert wins it, Joe, a $100 wager would pay back $10,000. They even have a market for if you want to bet Malik Neighbors.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
Quick little NBA recap here. Breaking news from Yahoo Sports. Trailblazers head coach Chauncey Billups pleaded not guilty to charges of wire fraud, conspiracy, and money laundering conspiracy on Monday during his appearance at a federal courthouse in Brooklyn. You know, has anybody ever just showed up and said, you know what, I'm guilty? Like, are we always not like you can be caught in 4K with years of evidence, and you're like, what would you say? Not guilty. Did they just say not guilty on purpose, Joe?
Yeah, not guilty. Just long enough for us to see exactly in discovery what it is you have on my client. And then we'll work on some sort of plea deal. And then with the guilty will come out. But first and foremost, no, I am innocent of charges until discovery happens. And then you're like, ooh, maybe not.
Taking sick days in the NBA, taking sick days in the NFL. It happens. How about some personal days out here? Look at Houston star Kevin Durant. He's going to miss Monday's game in Phoenix and Wednesday's contest in Golden State, tending to a family matter here. I wonder if he's still going to get paid for those personal days. No? And how many do you get a year in the NBA? Get at least 5 or 6 personal days where you're just like, I'm not sick. I just don't feel like being here and I want to get away?
Well, at Kevin Durant's, how much he gets paid an hour, I'm pretty sure they can do whatever he wants to do there. But the Rockets didn't miss him last night, Donnie. I mean, 114-92 over the red hot Suns there. And it just goes to show you how deep this Rockets team is. Keeping in mind that they lost Fred VanVleet before the season started. And a lot of these young guys are stepping up in a big way for the Rockets. Another fun team, well coached. I think they'll be able to get by with a couple of games without Durant.
Let's see what happens here. How about 13 straight victories for those Detroit Pistons here? The longest active streak in the league has the Pistons on top of the East, 15-2. It's Larry Brown, Chauncey Billups, and Tayshaun Prince back in the house.
Yeah, I mean, there's nothing not to like about what you're seeing here. I mean, Cade Cunningham, again, another 24 points, 11 boards last night. I mean, kudos to them. They didn't cover, though, and I think, Donnie, we're getting to that point where it might be time to sell high on the Detroit Pistons here in a couple of spots. They're very good. Their depth, they're getting healthy. They got Jay Nivey back, Karis LeVert's back. But I think we're getting to the point where it's time to sell high here at some point with Detroit.
How about selling high on those Miami Heat? 12-6 now in the season after a 4-point win over the Dallas Mavericks, who sink to 5-14 in this one. PJ Washington dropped 27 points. Tyler Hero, welcome back, 24 spot.
Yeah, no Norman Powell, no Wiggins, no Jovic. They had a lot of guys missing the Heat on the second of a back-to-back there, but it didn't make a difference because they got Tyler Hero back. So they played a little bit slower last night, Donnie, in that game than they have been in the past. Usually we're used to seeing 140 points in those games, but no, they still had more than enough. So the depth showing to be a positive here for the Miami Heat, who quietly now have become one of the most fun teams to watch in the NBA.
Who's in, who's out in the NBA? Always fun tonight. The Orlando Magic going to take on the Philadelphia 76ers. VJ Edgecombe missed his last game here. We'll see if he reappears. How about Joel Embiid and that quirky knee? They say he's close to returning, but if we look at the line here, I don't know if the anticipation is that. The Orlando Magic in town to take on the Sixers. The look-ahead line was a slight favorite towards the Sixers. Now you see a graphic that's going to pop up at +1.5. Even, Joe, some +2s in the market for the Philadelphia 76ers, and a total of 227.5. Max, you'll get his 40, but who else can help him out tonight?
Well, that's exactly it. I mean, the way I've counted, Donnie, it looks like Philadelphia is now alternated losses and wins, I think, in the last 9 games. So they never lose 2 in a row, but they never win 2 in a row. It's kind of crazy. And they're still trying to get some guys healthy here, right? They're still trying to work back McCain, who looked pretty good last time out against the Heat. Paul George did not. But it seems like both those guys might be on minutes restrictions. It's tough. It's got to be Maxey right now carrying the team, and I'm worried you're going to burn him out. But they did lose to the Heat, so if the trend continues, they'll beat the Magic tonight.
Bounce back effort here. How about the Battle of Tinseltown? The Clippers and the Lakers run a 5.5-point line across the board at 229.5. Who's playing in this game? Again, up in the air, which is always the fun part about the NBA. But 75% of the tickets, they're coming in on the Lakers tonight.
Yeah, well, they finally got Kawhi back last game. That didn't help them. But they are getting healthier, the Clippers. Will it be enough?
Yeah.
I don't know, Donnie. I don't know that it'll be enough.
take it to the bank, or at least take it out to the crypto bank out there. We'll see what happens in those games.
Yeah.
3 games on the card in the NBA tonight. And again, as we wait for Thanksgiving Day, the NBA Cup, and much more, hour number 2 is on the way. Those hot topics, they never stop rolling in. We'll be right back.